In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to podcast episode of Islam in Space, a journey of knowing Allah through His signs in the universe. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating intersections between science and revelation, the Big Bang Theory and its connection to Islam. You probably heard scientists describe how the universe began from a single point, an incredible explosion of energy and matter that expanded into everything we see today. But what's truly amazing is how this concept echoes verses in the Quran, revealed over 1,400 years ago, describing the heavens and the earth as once a joined entity before being separated. Today, we're exploring how Islam not only aligns with but even precedes some of these modern scientific understandings. And joining me in this cosmic conversation, we have our special guest, Annie, an astrophysics enthusiast and researcher who's passionate to strengthen her connection with Allah. And she believes that when we truly know who Allah is, we learn to trust Him more deeply, and that trust brings us closer to Him. Annie, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. For me, learning about the universe isn't just about science, it's about getting to know the greatness of Allah through His creation.
MashaAllah, I can't wait to dive in. Let's explore how the Quran and modern science both point us toward the same truth, the incredible creation of our universe. So, Annie, can you tell us what is Big Bang Theory?
The Big Bang Theory is the scientific explanation for the origin of the universe. It says that a very long time ago, about 13.8 billion years ago, everything in the universe was packed into one tiny, super hot point, called Singularity. Then, suddenly, that point started expanding. It wasn't an explosion that sent things flying into space, it was space itself growing bigger. As the universe expanded, it slowly cooled down, and tiny particles began to form. Those particles came together to make stars, planets, and galaxies, everything we see in the sky today. Even now, the universe is still expanding, it's getting bigger every second.
Okay, can you brief what is singularity?
A singularity is a point where everything is squeezed into something extremely small and dense, so dense that our normal rules of science can't really explain it. In the Big Bang Theory, scientists believe the whole universe, all the stars, planets, energy, and even time itself, was once packed into a single point, smaller than an atom. That point is called a singularity. It had infinite density and heat, meaning everything was so tightly packed that the laws of physics, like gravity or time, didn't work the way they do now. Then, from that singularity, the universe began to expand, starting the Big Bang the moment when space and time began.
And how small singularity is exactly?
Very good question. It's very important to understand how small the singularity actually was, because just as we know that the universe is unimaginably vast, so vast that our minds can't fully comprehend it, it's equally important to realize how incredibly small it was before the Big Bang. Only then can we truly grasp how something so tiny could become so enormous. The singularity was smaller than even an atom, and yet, from within it, Allah brought forth this vast and magnificent universe for us. An hydrogen atom has size of 10 to the power of minus 10 meters. An atomic nucleus has size of 10 to the power of minus 15 meters. Singularity has size of 0 meter, a point where density and gravity become infinite, and has no measurable physical size. Now you can imagine how small it was. Quran mentioned this 1400 years ago in Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, verse 30. Have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing? Then will they not believe? In this verse, the heavens and the earth were a joined entity means that, at first, the sky and the earth, or in a broader sense, the entire universe were one single mass. Everything was together, united, before Allah caused them to separate and expand. Modern science says something very similar, that the universe once existed in a single, dense point before it began expanding. So this verse perfectly matches that idea, though it was revealed long before humans even began to study cosmology. And we made from water every living thing, highlights another amazing truth. All living creatures need water to survive. Science confirms that life on Earth depends on water, and even when scientists search for life on other planets, they first look for signs of water. Finally, then will they not believe, is a gentle but powerful question from Allah, asking people to reflect on these signs and realize that such perfect creation and order can only come from one true creator.
Very well explained. As we all know, the early universe was like a smoke before the formation of planets and stars. Do we find anything regarding this in Quran?
After the Big Bang, the universe was extremely hot and full of tiny particles not yet formed into stars or planets. As it expanded and cooled, those particles created a thick, cloudy mixture of gas and dust. Scientists say the early universe looked like a fog or smoke, made mostly of hydrogen and helium. From this smoky gas, stars and galaxies slowly began to form like bright lights appearing in the mist. What's truly amazing is that the Quran describes this stage perfectly in Surah Fusilat, chapter 41, verse 11. Then he turned to the heaven when it was smoke and said to it and to the earth, "Come willingly or unwillingly." This verse describes a stage after the creation of the universe began when the heavens, the sky, and space were still in their early form. When Allah says, "The heaven was smoke," it means that the early universe was full of hot gases and particles, like thick smoke or mist. Modern science confirms that after the Big Bang, the universe was filled with gas and dust, not yet formed into stars or galaxies. So the Quran's word dukhan, smoke, perfectly describes what scientists now call a gaseous early universe. Then Allah said to it and to the earth, "Come willingly or unwillingly," meaning he commanded the sky and the earth to take their shape in order to obey his will and become the universe as we know it. It shows that everything in creation, even the heavens and the earth, submits to Allah's command. And when they replied, "We come willingly," it symbolizes complete obedience. The heavens and the earth did not resist Allah's command. They became exactly what he willed, perfectly balanced, vast, and full of signs of his power.
Okay, now let's talk about the balance of the Big Bang.
First of all, the Big Bang was not a chaos. When we hear explosion, we imagine disorder, but the Big Bang was actually a precise, controlled expansion. Every detail from the strength of gravity to the rate of expansion was finely balanced. If any single value were even slightly different, the universe would have either collapsed back in or expanded too fast for stars and life to form. Second is perfect balance in physical laws. Allah created laws of nature that keep everything in harmony. Gravity pulls matter together to form stars and planets. Electromagnetic force holds atoms together, and nuclear forces control how stars burn. Each of these forces is perfectly measured. It's the sign of precise balance, not random chance. So here it is, prove that Big Bang was done by some superpower that is only Allah. It cannot be happened randomly. Third is balance and expansion. The universe expands at just the right speed. If it expanded a little faster, galaxies couldn't form. If slower, the universe would collapse. This exact rate shows divine precision. Fourth, Balance for life after Big Bang. The perfect balance of Allah made life on Earth possible. Planets are placed at the right distance from their stars, not too close to burn, not too far to freeze. The atmosphere has the perfect mix of gases, oxygen to breathe, carbon dioxide for plants, and a protective layer against harmful rays. Earth's orbit and seasons are stable, allowing water, food, and life to exist in harmony. Everything in the cosmos is precisely, Quran says in Surah Ar-Rahman, chapter 55, verse 7, He raised the heaven and established the balance. This verse describes two amazing things that Allah did when creating the universe. He raised the heaven means that Allah lifted and spread out the heavens, creating the vastness of space above us. It shows the greatness of Allah's creation, the sky, the stars, the galaxies all raised and perfectly placed in an enormous, ordered system. From a scientific point of view, it can remind us of how Allah caused the expansion and structure of the universe, placing everything in perfect harmony. And established the balance means that Allah set perfect balance and order in everything He created. In the universe, this balance can be seen in gravity, orbits, energy, and forces. Everything is precisely measured so that life can exist. Spiritually, it also means Allah wants balance in our lives, in how we live, worship, and treat others. Just as the universe stays stable through balance, our lives find peace when we live in balance with Allah's guidance. Another verse mentioned in Surah Al-A'la, chapter 87, verse 2 to 3, says, Who created and proportioned, and who measured and guided. This verse talks about the perfection and wisdom of Allah in creation, who created and proportioned. Allah is the one who created everything and gave each creation its proper shape, form, and purpose. Nothing in the universe is random. Every star, planet, and living creature is perfectly proportioned according to what it needs. From the smallest atom to the largest galaxy, everything is designed in perfect balance. For humans, it means Allah shaped us perfectly in body, mind, and soul, exactly as we were meant to be. And who measured and guided. This means Allah not only created everything, but also measured how each thing should function, its size, lifespan, and role in the world. Then, He guided His creation, giving everything a natural way to follow. For example, birds are guided to migrate at the right times. Planets follow their exact orbits. Seeds know how to grow toward the sunlight.
I totally agree with us. When we look up at the night sky, everything seems still, but in reality, the whole universe is expanding every second. How does the Quran describe this endless expansion?
The universe didn't stay still. After the Big Bang, it began to stretch and grow in all directions, and it's still expanding today. For example, think of a balloon and mark some points from a marker on it. Now blow air in it. As the balloon expands, every point on its surface moves away from every other point. Similarly, in space, galaxies are moving away from each other as the universe expands. It's amazing that this discovery, made only about 100 years ago, but was already mentioned in the Quran more than 1,400 years ago in Surah Ad-Dariyat, chapter 51, verse 47. And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed we are expanding it. In this verse, the heaven refers to the universe, everything above us, space, stars, and galaxies. Allah says, He built it with strength, meaning with perfect power, structure, and stability. Then Allah says, We are expanding it, which means the universe is continuously growing. Modern science discovered this only about 100 years ago, that galaxies are moving apart and space itself is stretching.
Subhanallah, what a beautiful conversation. We learned how the universe began, how it expands, and how every part of it reflects the power and wisdom of Allah. Also, it is the biggest sign of Allah's existence. So, listeners, that's all for today. Thank you, Annie, for joining us today and sharing your reflections. And to all our listeners, may Allah accept our listening, our learning, and our reflections. May He guide us to see His signs not only in the stars above, but in the hearts within. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also, let us know what topic you want us to discuss next. You have been listening to Islam in Space. See you in the next episode, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.